Good evening and welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. We've got the 5 keys to the New York Yankees 2026 season. It's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go! Well, there you have it, folks. Welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. We've got part 1. 5 keys to the New York Yankees 2026 season, folks, because guess what? It's going to be a meat grinder in the AL East. I think it's going to be a 3-team race between the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the New York Yankees. Don't forget to put on your notifications because I'm going to be covering it all right here on New York Minute. But I was doing some of my notes in my prep for spring training and the season coming up, and I was thinking of making concise 5 points of things that the New York Yankee fans should watch during this spring training. The first on the list is none other than Ben Rice. Ben Ariz, if you will. We've been hearing his name all offseason, and we keep hearing how he's the second coming. Now, that gives me a little bit of pause. There is such a thing as the sophomore jinx in baseball. Now, if Ben Rice can overcome the sophomore jinx, then he is going to be the protection in the lineup behind Aaron Judge in the 4th spot. Now, it's going to be a big leap for Ben Rice this year. It's going to be a major step for a young guy. But if it's anyone on the New York Yankees that can handle the workload, it's Ben Rice. Because you know what? Ben Rice will have a whole spring training underneath his belt at first base this year. Last year, every time he got to the stadium, hey, you're catching. Hey, you're playing first base. Hey, you're going to DH. Hey, you're going to hit 3 home runs and 9 RBIs, and we're going to bench you the next day. Those days have come and gone. And I know a lot of people were getting scared that the New York Yankees signed Paul Goldschmidt and that it was going to take reps away from Ben Rice. No. Ben Rice is the everyday first baseman. And I think with his talent, with his effort, and with his workload, this year, he can definitely have a breakout year, and Ben Rice is going to be a key component to the New York Yankees offense because I keep hearing how people keep saying we're going to run it back, but the New York Yankees are a team that is in development mode. If you look at the New York Yankees now, there is youth all over the place, and Ben Rice is the poster child of that. Guys that came out of nowhere. He was in Double-A a couple of years ago, and Ben Rice came onto the scene, and now he's hit himself into the lineup. Last year, most bad luck outs in all of Major League Baseball. Not only do the fans love him, guess what? The statistical nerds love him. Highest barrel rate, exit velocity, all that shit that blows their hair back, Ben Rice does it all. I am just a pessimistic New York baseball fan. I just know when everybody gets their hopes up, I know what goes up must come down. Speaking of what goes up and must come down, what we're going to need to watch is Cody Bellinger and Trent Grisham. And the one word that keeps flying around the AL East and the New York Yankees this year is regression. Just like I said with Ben Rice, sophomore slump, take a step back. We're expecting a lot from him. Guess who we're also expecting a lot from? Trent Grisham and Cody Bellinger. Both had career years. Both played out of their mind in contract years. Before this year, Trent Grisham was a 4th outfielder at best, and he was a throw-in in the Juan Soto deal in the San Diego Padres. And guess what? What goes up must come down. They both are projected to have down years. Not bad years, but not the years that they had last year. Let me know in the comments below, Yankee fans. Do you think Cody Bellinger is going to match the season he had last year? Do you think Trent Grisham will match the year that he had last year? Because guess what? Nobody planned on Trent Grisham doing what he did last year, and it was an excellent year. But what I think Trent Grisham is what he was in the playoffs. He came back and fell back to earth, and that's who I think the player Trent Grisham really is. And guys can have lucky years, and apparently the Yankees that don't believe in lucky years, gave Trent Grisham $20 million. So even if Trent Grisham comes out this year and doesn't replicate the same season, the Yankees front office is going to pressure Aaron Buffoon into playing Trent Grisham every day. So you know what that means? That means that it's going to kill the progression of the fourth outfielder, which is our young outfielders like Spencer Jones and Jason Domínguez. Now, that's another topic. That brings us to our third topic. Do you think that Jason Domínguez or Spencer Jones will be traded before the season starts? One of these guys needs to go. And I think if you move Jason Domínguez down to AAA to start the season, I know he's still young, but the optics of that are not good for the rest of baseball if you want to move him in a trade. The optics aren't good, and the mental weight it is going to have on Jason Domínguez after coming up here for 2 years and being moved down to AAA. Also, Spencer Jones, most home runs in AAA last year, 33 home runs, dropped out of the top 100 players. I don't know if this guy can see the light of day because Brian Cashman is one of the best used car salesmen you've ever seen in your life. He's good at building up players, but when we don't move them and they wind up staying here, they turn into Anthony Volpe. As long as positional players are concerned, because you know Brian Cashman can bring the arms and the youth, and we'll get to that. But Jason Domínguez and Spencer Jones, I say keep Jason Domínguez. With that frame, he won't get injured as much as a 6'7" lanky guy who plays center field. Jason Domínguez is fast. If he gets more reps, he can work on both sides of the plate from the batter's box. I think he has more upside than Spencer Jones. I said it on this show. If you Google it, Google Richie Sexson. That's who I think Spencer Jones is going to be. A guy that's hit 187, 210, has 38 home runs, or almost like an Adam Dunn. But guess what? The New York Yankees do not need that. They do not need more guys that are going to strike out, which I think is going to be one of the Achilles' heels. Addition by subtraction. And keep your eye on Bednar and Duvall this spring training. And the reason I say addition by subtraction is because they've replaced Luke Weaver and low-lev Dev, guys. And you know what? Think about the New York Yankees last year. If they didn't have low-lev Dev on this team, in the first 3 months of the season after missing a week and a half because of maternity leave, he had an ERA of 10. The New York Yankees left about 6 games on the table in the first 3 months of the season due to low-lev Dev. Imagine where they would have been in the playoffs if they had 6 more wins under their belt. Then you had Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver was the reclamation project that the New York Yankees got in their lab and turned him into a stud closer and brought us all the way to the World Series on the backs of Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. But guess what? Last year, he came back to earth, started tipping his pitches, and especially the Toronto Blue Jays picked up on it. Both of these guys went crosstown to the New York Mets, and guess what? Thank God they went over there. Just here are the numbers of low-lev Dev and Luke Weaver from last year. Like I said, a 10-plus ERA in the first 3 months, a 4 ERA on the whole season. The pressure of New York got to Devin Williams. It looked like he didn't even want to play here. Luke Weaver, another guy with a 4 ERA. And you know what? Now, the New York Yankees have Duvall in their 8th, Bednar at the 9th, Cruz at the 7th, and Tim Hill in the 7th, because Tim Hill has pitched his way into this team and is one of the best and most reliable arms, because he's Tim Hill, King of the Hill from AutoZone. Employee of the month every month. Woo! So that brings us to the consideration of who is going to get the 6th inning spot, because another guy that let the New York Yankees down, and I think was one of the key components to the Yankees' failures in 2025, was Jonathan Loáisiga. Another guy made from the Yankees farm system that they thought the world of, was fighting injuries year in and year out, but when he was healthy, had some of the best stuff on the team, and guess what? The bottom dropped out. The Yankees were heavily relying on him to be a high-leverage guy, and guess what? Just the reason I called Devin Williams low-lev Dev. He was pitching in the sixth inning, and he replaced low-lev Dev in the sixth inning, and he never brought it. Some of the names you should be listening to and looking at during spring training: Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, he's a starter. Young arm. LaGrange, another starter. Throws heat, 101, 102. Elmer Rodriguez reminds me of a Changming Wang. He's a breaking ball pitcher, 6'3", big guy from Puerto Rico. Love the stuff. Then you got Hess and Hurd. Those are the two names that I think you're going to hear most for the sixth inning competition in spring training to fill out the rest of the bullpen. So that brings us to our fifth and final thing to watch this year in the 2026 season is the New York Yankees starting pitching staff. We got question marks all over the place, folks. If everything goes right, they could have one of the most dominant staffs in all of baseball. If everyone's hurt, it's going to be a nightmare of a season with this starting rotation. First is Gerrit Cole. What Gerrit Cole are we going to get back who's in his mid-30s, only tops off at about 95, and coming back from Tommy John surgery? What version are we going to get of him? Now, I said before, if he takes a page out of Andy Pettitte or CC Sabathia's page and changes his style, I think Gerrit Cole can still be effective. He is a student of the game, and he is a workhorse. And guess what? I'm going to ask you Yankee fans a question. Let me know in the comments below. When everyone's healthy on this team, is Gerrit Cole the number 3 starter on this team after the emergence of Max Fried and Carlos Rodón? So now, with Cam Schlittler having the pain in the middle of his back and said that he had pain on his left side yesterday in the first day of spring training, is Gerrit Cole starting to ramp up his bullpen sessions so he can start earlier in the season this year? Because I heard in the beginning of the year that he was not going to be seen all the way until July. So that leads us to the two workhorses of last year, Max Fried and Carlos Rodón. These two guys single-handedly threw the New York Yankees on their back last year and did a fantastic job. Now, I was a huge Carlos Rodón critic, and I kind of still am. But the year that he put together was exactly the player that Brian Cashman made moves for from the San Francisco Giants. Max Fried last year was amazing, but Max Fried pitched the most innings he's ever pitched in a season. And if you notice, he had some blister issues last year. That's because wear and tear of other injuries in the pitching staff and having to cover ground for other guys. You got to remember, the New York Yankees started this season with Marcus "I'm a starter" Stroman, and I got a head tattoo, and Cookie Carrasco, who was bagging groceries at a Ralph's 2 weeks before the Yankees signed him, and that's who they started the season with. And then they had to go out and get Yarborough out of nowhere off the scrap heap from the Tampa Bay Rays, and they made it work. But what is going to happen to Carlos Rodón and Max Fried this year? Will the workload of 2025 carry over until 2026? We already saw that with Carlos Rodón, had some bone chips in his elbow, and that's what he's getting surgery on. He is far ahead of his recovery process. He will be probably around in May. That's a good sign. But what worries most me about Carlos Rodón is his reliability in the playoffs, but we have plenty of time to break that down throughout the season. But right now, Max Fried, watch his workload in spring training. How is Aaron Boone going to handle him after a serious workload last year? How is Carlos Rodón going to bounce back from getting the bone chips removed from his elbow? And can we rely on him to have another absolute amazing year like he did last year? Next guy in the starting rotation, Luis Gil. Now, Luis Gil, I think this is a huge make or break year for Luis Gil in a bunch of different ways. In Luis Gil's first year, he was Rookie of the Year. In his second year, they even said it in a few interviews to start the season this year, he showed up to camp out of shape. apparently he was celebrating his rookie of the year a little bit too much, and then he got hurt in spring training, and he was out for 3/4 of the season. At the end of last year, had some control issues, but when this guy is right, he has a microscopic ERA and has some of the best stuff in the AL East. And I was hearing Joel Sherman saying that the New York Yankees are big on Luis Gil this year. But no pun intended, the Achilles heel of Luis Gil is that he walks way too many guys. He averages 4 walks a game, and that's why I am so amazed, and I scratch my head when I see his starts for the New York Yankees of how his ERA is still so low when he puts so many men on base. But the reason I said that Luis Gil has so many different lanes that he can go down, if it doesn't work out as a starter, I think it would be a no-brainer to put him in the bullpen as a high-leverage guy. If you can take one of his pitches away from his 3-pitch arsenal where he would only have to concentrate on a fastball and a slider, that guy would be deadly out of the bullpen because he could ramp up the speed on his fastball. And guess what? If he only has to go 1 inning, he would be lights out. You think Duvall is good. He's bigger than him, and he has the same stuff as him, and I think he could be an 8th or 9th inning guy. So you have a lot of flexibility with Luis Gil, but I think this is a major prove-it year for him. Another guy, my adopted son of last year, Will Warren. 33 starts last year, a workhorse. And you know what? The best ability is availability, folks. And that's exactly what Will Warren was last year. Did he have his highs? Did he have his lows? Absolutely. Did he have his blow-ups? Yes. But did he have some of his very good games? And was he one of the most reliable starting pitchers on the New York Yankees in the month of August? Absolutely. Can he build on the year that he had last year? Absolutely. The thing is, everybody doesn't need to be Paul Skeens that comes out of your farm system. If Will Warren is a 4th or 5th starter for the rest of his career for the Yankees, I'll sign up to that right now because everyone can't be an all-star that you have in your starting rotation, even if the Yankees try to do it. Will Warren has the stuff, reminds me of Phil Hughes from 2009, who was in our farm system, who came up with Jabba Chamberlain and Ian Kennedy, and I think that he can build on it a lot. I've also said Clark Schmidt, I'm out on him. I think Clark Schmidt should be moved into a middle relief role, and he should be on the outside looking into this starting rotation because guess what? He is starting to become a liability with injuries like Jordan Montgomery. Then comes in Ryan Weathers, the guy that we got from the Marlins. Started his career with the San Diego Padres. Now he was on the Marlins. Now comes over to the Yankees at 28-year-old lefty with some of the most swing and miss stuff. He was next to Dylan Cease on the San Diego Padres in swing and miss stuff and led the majors. But his win-loss record does not emulate that, and being on a Marlins team that's usually perpetually in the basement does not bode well for a young pitcher, and their development sucks. Ryan Weathers' dad was a New York Yankee. He's been statistically one of the best high school players ever to draw breath, and I think if you get him in the Matt Blake pitching lab, I think this guy is going to do wonders, and I think that he is going to be the breakout star of the New York Yankees pitching staff this year, okay, guys? Now, Warren, Schmidt, Luis Gil, I think all three of those guys, when all the starting rotation is healthy, okay, I think all of those guys are going to be in a discussion to be moved to the bullpen. I think you're going to need all those pitchers because guess what? Knock on wood, when spring training happens, injuries will happen. So you need as many guys as possible. The New York Yankees thought pitching was one of their strong suits in the beginning of 2025, and then people started dropping like flies. Look at the Hammond bone and everyone breaking their hand in their bone. Whatever the new trend injury is this year, the New York Yankees will find it in spring training because that's the way it's gone down for the last 8 years. So this is part one of the 5 things to see for the New York Yankees in spring training this year in 2025. And like I said, this is going to be one of the most competitive spring trainings. And also, with the World Baseball Classic happening, that means that the Yankees farm system guys are going to be getting more reps with 13 veterans being off the New York Yankees for about a month's time. That means that we're going to be to get more reps for the farm system guys. That's only going to make the New York Yankees franchise stronger and stronger. I will be doing part 2. 5 more things to watch for the New York Yankee fans leading up to the 2026 season, because guess what, guys? It's going to be a doozy, a meat grinder, a 3-way dance for first place. And guess what? After the Orioles got Bassett yesterday, guess what? It's going to be a race. And you can see that video right about now. It's linked at the end. And remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Good night, Canada. Bye.